What's up? It is cold as crap out here. I think right now it's like 35, but I had to go fishing. I gotta go lean on a couple. Making me look dumb now. I've been here about 30 minutes and I've had 2 bites on A-rig, missed them both. So, fixing to run a couple high percentage areas, catch me a few. I have a theory that this water's so much colder, the fish actually do swim. I've never really been a big believer in fish swimming like 20 miles to like spawn or way up a river in the summer because it's cooler. I thought them fish kind of live there, but it's starting to look like these fish up here swim up and swim all the way back down based on what time of year it is. But we're gonna try to catch us a couple decent ones today anyways. Been throwing the A-rig around, had a few short strike it. So I put pick this little dude up, and he choked it. Big time choked it. I watched him come out and eat it. Back on my little old Strike King Rage swimmer, 3.75. Fat little spot. Literally the next cast, and I was just letting it hit the bottom, and I picked up, started reeling it in, and it was moving. Look at how he's little. This is a 12-incher, and look at how he ate that sucker. I mean, switching from that A-rig to this really made a daggone difference for sure, even though they're little. Might be a largemouth. Look at how fat, man. And look at that hole that ripped in that fish's lips. That's why you want to use a real light rod, because you want to try to avoid that. But that time it happened. Look at how pretty. They're little, but man, oh my goodness. Look at the shape of it. Oh man, look at that thing. Beautiful little fish. I'm telling y'all, I'm catching all these fish. It's been like 12 minutes. Like, this little sucker right here catches fish in the wintertime. I mean, they're little, but it is daggum catching them. Another nice one. Off the same point. So I just caught one about 2.5 pounds. This one's about 2 pounds, almost 2, right at 2. And I just caught one about 2.5. Showed him to y'all, talked to y'all for a second, threw him back, then realized I didn't have the camera on. So another nice one right there in that little Finesse Swimbait, boy. I'm starting to like that thing. It's starting to be one of my wintertime go-tos, I believe. A little bit of spotted bass on the little swim bait. They eat this sucker up, I'm telling you. Another little bitty one on this thing, but they eating it up. Two almost back to back. This little bitty sucker just lost a good one and catch him. Another nice little spot. Hope y'all are really paying attention to the kind of banks that I'm fishing this thing on. See how it's like that bluff point's up there. Okay guys, I'm back at the ramp now, but I'd feel like I was cheating you if I didn't tell you all about this little sucker here. So I just broke off my one I was throwing. I put this one on, it has a little bit of rust on the hook and it's kind of dull, and I lost like 3 on it in the last like 15 minutes of fishing. So definitely when you have light line and a light rod, you have to have a super sharp hook. But that's a 3.75 inch Strike King Rage Swimmer. I don't know the exact color, but it's kind of like just a translucent shad color. 7-foot cranking, medium cranking rod, 10-pound line. What that 10-pound line allows is, with this small bait, the lighter the line, the more that bait, the top front of that bait's going to really wobble. Now the back end's going to really kick no matter what, but the front end's going to wobble the lighter line you have. It's going to get you a lot more bites in super clear water. Now, another thing that happens is I like to reel it very, very, very slow. So I put it on a 5.5 to 1 gear ratio reel. Now I'm definitely going to change that. I'm not trying to be an expert on this because I've only been doing this for a short period of time. But I put it on a 5.5 to 1 gear ratio to help me present the bait better. And it's really costing me whenever I set the hook, because I've lost a couple that have come out from under these rocks and hit it, and I can't catch up to them with this 5.5 to 1. So I think I'm going to go to a 7 to 1 next time and just make myself reel it slow. Now, I throw the one with a very light wire hook. I like that with this 10-pound line, because if you want to throw light line, you can't have a big hook. You're not going to get that hook in past the barb with light line. So you got to use the hook that's appropriate for the line and the rod that's appropriate for it. Now this rod really, really loads. This is an 1/8 ounce jig head, and it's pretty light bait, but it really, really loads and lets me cast it really far because how parabolic this rod is, and this light bait really loads that rod well. Now this is a 200 size reel. A 200 size reel will cast further than a small reel, so that's another reason I use this. It's a good way to cast a light bait far with a bigger spool. It allows you to throw a little bit further. Now, where I'm throwing this at, a lot of bluff banks with channel swings or river bends, like the inside curve of a river bend. So it'll be super deep water, and I'll throw it there to them rocks and let it sink all the way to the bottom and reel it. And then if I feel like it's getting too high off the bottom, I'll let it sink back down some more. So what you want to do is keep it pretty low, pretty close to the bottom. Or if you figure out, like if you're fishing in 40 foot, probably won't let it sink down 12 or 15 and just slow roll it on past some ledges on these bluff rocks. But the flatter the bank is, you don't really got to let it hit the bottom, you know. But if you throw it on these bluff rocks, you really want to let it hit the bottom. You don't want to be reeling it back in 3 foot of water when the fish are down in 8 or 9. So I keep contact with the bottom and keep it pretty close to the bottom. I mean, you can throw this thing out and just hop it up like a jig or drag it like a shaky head. I've caught some today throwing up there to the bluff, and while it's falling, you'll just feel them thumping. So there's a lot of different ways to fish this thing, but it is an absolute stone cold fish catcher in the winter. So I want to really give y'all my rundown of what I do for it. Everybody can do it differently, but that's what I like to do with it. Now you can go up to a 5-inch bait and a bigger jig head for sure, but this right here is like the perfect size for getting every single fish in the lake to bite. It's what it seems like, at least. But anyways, if y'all like that, put these tips to use. Hit that sub button, leave a like, leave a comment, turn the bell on. We're almost at 300 subs. It didn't take long to get from 2 to 3 this time. So y'all keep going, keep growing the channel. Hit that sub button. See y'all next time.